What's up guys? Welcome to All Things Korean. I am back with another pronunciation video for you today. I'm going to teach you how to distinguish the consonants 디귿, 티읕, and 쌍디귿. So when studying Hangul for the first time, you're going to notice that there are groups of consonants that look very similar in shape. This is a pattern in Hangul. It's the way it was designed. Similar shape means common place of articulation. In this case, we are looking at what is called an alveolar stop. An alveolar consonant is a consonant whereby when you articulate it, the tip of your tongue touches the alveolar ridge. The alveolar ridge is that bump right behind your teeth. Other alveolar consonants in Hangul include ni은 and li을, but we are only going to look at stops today. An alveolar stop is a consonant that completely blocks the airflow. So similar alveolar stops in the English language are D and T. Now if we take a look at the shapes, 디귿 is the basic neutral form. You add one dash to it and that becomes 티읕, which is an aspirated form. Or you can double it and it becomes what is called a tensed form. So let's start with the basic neutral 디귿. For practical purposes, I'm going to add the vowel a and call the consonants ta, ta, and ta throughout the video. Okay, let's look at the basic ta or 디귿. When you romanize it in English, it can be either a D or a T. And because it isn't really either one, first, we're going to have a look at the English consonants D and T first, before we move on to the actual Korean consonant ta. So what are the two characteristics that distinguish D and T? We have to look at voicing and aspiration. Voicing refers to the vibration of the vocal cords. When you put a finger over here and you articulate D, D, you're going to feel that the vocal cords are vibrating from the beginning. But when you say T, T, there is no vibration when you articulate the T sound. T, T, nothing. So D is a voiced consonant, whereas T is an unvoiced consonant. Aspiration refers to the strong burst of air that comes out of your mouth. You can tell the differences by putting a hand in front of your mouth, say D, and say T. When you say T, you are going to feel that strong burst of air. This means that D is an unaspirated consonant, while T is aspirated. Now, compared to D and T, where does the Korean ta or 디귿 come in? A lot of people are going to say that it's somewhere between a D and a T, and we are going to look at why. Okay, so let's compare ta to the English da. They sound similar, but they are not quite the same. So the common feature between 디귿 and D is that both, compared to T, have little to no aspiration. So when you say ta, you have that strong burst of air coming out. But when you say the English da or the Korean ta, there is little to no air. D has completely no air, but the Korean ta has a tiny, tiny bit of aspiration. But I guess you can just group that as a similar characteristic when compared to D. Now, the difference between D and ta is that the English D is a voiced consonant, but the Korean ta is unvoiced. So when you say da, English da, there is a vibration. And when you say the Korean ta, ta, I don't feel that vibration in my vocal cords. So, similar because they're unaspirated, different because ta is unvoiced, while da is voiced. Now let's compare ta to the English T, ta. The similar feature between these two is that both of them are unvoiced consonants. When you say the Korean ta and the English ta, there is no initial vibration in the vocal cord. However, the big difference between the Korean ta and the English ta is the level of aspiration. You can put your hand or a tissue or something in front of your mouth and compare the levels of aspiration. When you say ta, there's little to no aspiration, whereas when you say the English ta, you're going to feel a strong burst of air. So let's bring out the trusty Venn diagram again. Ta is similar to the English da in the sense that they are both less aspirated than T, But they are different because the English da is a voiced consonant, whereas the Korean ta is unvoiced. Moving on to T, ta and ta are similar in that they are both unvoiced consonants, but different in the levels of aspiration. Now, when this tigut comes between two vowels and is in the middle of a word, it does tend to have a voiced property. In this case, it would be correct to romanize it as a D. Some examples would be like the word 바다, which means ocean, and 하다, which is the verb to do. Ta is the strongly aspirated version of ta, and it is romanized as a T, and correctly so. The sounds are pretty much the same. Some examples that start with a tiut can be taro, which can mean either taro, as in the milk tea, or tarot, as in fortune-telling thingy. Another example could be 타이어, which means a tire, like a car's tire. And the last one is ta, which is the double consonant. Double consonants mean that the consonant becomes tensed. So you can think of it this way. You place the tip of your tongue on the alveolar ridge and kind of push against it to make a tensed state. And if that doesn't really make sense, I'll give you an example in the English language. Let's look at the word hot dog. So hot dog is divided into two syllables or words. You have hot and you have dog. Notice that hot ends in an alveolar consonant and dog starts with an alveolar consonant. So when you say hot, you don't aspirate the T. You don't say hot dog. So when you say hot, hot, notice how the insides of your mouth are tensed. When you say hot, you don't release it there. You keep it tensed so that you can proceed to the next part of the word, which is dog. So that is the state that you're going for. Hot dog. So let's change the word a bit. And let's keep the first part of the word hot and just add ta, which is the Korean sound that we're practicing today. Hot ta. Hot ta. And that's how you make the sound. Another example that I can find in the English language is the word stop. Now the word stop has the consonant T in it, but you'll notice that when you say stop, you don't aspirate the T. You don't say stop. You say stop. So try to kind of divide that line between the S and the T and pay attention to how it sounds. Stop. Stop. Just get rid of the S and then you get stop. 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 And that's also the tensed alveolar stop that we're going for. I actually don't know if this is linguistically correct, but it sounds pretty accurate to me, and that's coming from a Korean, so I think it's safe to use this as a tip. Now, like I always do, I'm going to show you an example from other languages. The first example is Chinese. If you speak Mandarin Chinese, how do you say the word da, which is the word for big? Let's try the three consonants we learned today and see which sounds the most natural. Ta. Ta. Da. The last one, the 10th consonant, is how you would pronounce the Chinese word for big. Da. The next word is the cheese. Ricotta. I'm probably butchering it a little bit, but I hope you can see my point. When Italians say the word ricotta, they don't aspirate the T, but it's not a D sound either. So let's try again the three consonants that we learned today. Ricotta. 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 So that ta, the 10th consonant, again is the closest to that Italian word. And our last one is Tagalog, which is a language used in the Philippines. Tagalog starts with a T, but if you really listen to it, it's not an aspirated T. So again, let's compare it to the three consonants we learned today. Tagalog. 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 Ta. I hope this helped you see that the double consonant is not such an uncommon concept. You can find it in English as well as many other languages. So we're going to wrap everything up now. Ta, which is romanized as either a D or a T, is a neutral alveolar stop with no voicing and minimal aspiration. Ta, which is romanized as a T, is an aspirated version of ta. And ta, which is a double consonant or a tensed consonant, is an unaspirated stop that is tensed before articulation. And the English examples that you can think of to help you would be hot dog and stop. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more videos on Korean language and culture. I will see you in the next one. 다음 영상에서 만나요.